Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
Bobo here, and this is the Best Seat in the House podcast, Best of 2022 special.
And that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first edition, the debut edition of the Best Seat in the House podcast. Me and Bo have known each other for, I'd say, the last decade or so, right, Dan? What do you think?
Yeah, I think I've known you since like 2014.
Yeah, we met at the Opie and Anthony Unmasked with Ron Bennington at Sirius XM. It was actually at Caroline's in New York City. And, ever since then, we've been buddies. We've gone to a lot of Met games. We talked a lot of sports. I've had you on my former radio show at WGBB. I've had you on my podcast. And, whenever we get together and we start talking sports, it's always a fun time. And a lot of people end up listening. For some reason, people like to hear couple of Met fans fucking bullshit about sports for an hour or so. So, hey, you know what? Let's give them what they want. We're going to move on into our final segment. This is going to be our venting segment. This is going to be the segment where my good friend, my co-host, Daniel Bobo Curlin, you're going to get some things off your chest right now. You're going to tell the world what you think, what makes you angry, what grinds your gears, sports-wise, at least. And Dan, take it away.
I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!"
Yeah, one of the things I'm really upset, I was kind of upset about, if you remember earlier this year, we had the MLB lockout that did cause some games to get postponed to a later date, and when that happened, I had bought tickets to one of those games. Well, what happened was my opening day tickets, of course, we know, got moved to whatever date opening day was going to be, but another game I had bought tickets to, I was just given ticket credit, and I recently was buying tickets to a game using that credit I still have with my account. It didn't cover the full price of the ticket, and it was in the same seating category as that canceled game. It still ended up maybe like $11 I had to still pay because it didn't cover the full credit.
Holy shit. Major League Baseball, you just made the list. Dan, keep going. Give me more. What else is getting on your nerves?
The other thing, Apple TV exclusive games. I gotta shell out money for Apple TV.
Preach.
And yeah, I gotta shell out money for Apple TV, a subscription service I wasn't really looking into subscribing to. I gotta shell out that to watch any Met games that are exclusive to Apple TV, and the same thing with Peacock. I gotta shell out money for a Peacock subscription for that, and for the MLB, the Futures game, which is the game that is held during All-Star Game weekend. The Prospect Showcase game held at the All-Star Game site the Sunday before the All-Star Game.
Yeah.
I had to shell out that money for a Peacock subscription for that, and whatever Met games are going to be airing exclusively on Peacock. So I have to shell out more for that, and I have to shell out for Amazon Prime, their streaming service, for football season for any Giants games that are happening on a Thursday. Eesh. Talk about really milking money for TV services to make sure I can catch every game. And ESPN Plus. I have to pay for an ESPN Plus subscription to get the games that are ESPN Plus exclusive as well.
That's true for the hockey this year.
Yeah, and I'm hearing, I'm hoping this doesn't happen with the next TV deal, but I heard when a current TV deal with NASCAR is up, that they could be having some races Peacock exclusive as well. So it's really annoying me with that.
No doubt about it. Bo, anything else? Anything else under your skin today?
Yeah, the other thing that's a little bit under my skin is of course the fact that we have nothing but parking lot wire stadium. I mean, I've been to several stadiums. I mean, not to knock anything off the City Field. I love the ballpark. There's just something about the atmosphere, about the festive atmosphere. I'm sure you've been to a few major league stadiums. They built a lot of things around the stadium. I mean, you got a place you could eat and something. I wish they would have done that with City Field when it first opened.
You got that right, brother. I mean, they got nothing around here. We got a bunch of scrap metal yards and everything. Luckily, they did add the bar, but other than that, we got nothing over there.
That bar actually closed down because they lost money during the 2020 lockdown. So that it was a victim of the pandemic.
Who wasn't? But
yeah.
And Dan, anything else? One last one. Give me something else. Anything else pissing you off today?
One last one. Bill de Blasio. Way to screw up my city. Way to screw up my city, Bill de Blasio.
Bill de Blasio just got one last kick in the ass, and he's not even mayor of New York anymore. All right, and now we're being joined by the great Kevin Knight, the master of chaos, here to promote the IWF Loud and Proud event, the 25th anniversary, this coming up Saturday night. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me on the podcast. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. And obviously on Saturday, there's so many great matches. Obviously, you're going to be defending the tag team championship. You're going to have Eastside Dave going against Mr. USA, Tony Atlas. So many great matches going on right now. What are you most looking forward to this Saturday?
I think you said it. I want to see Eastside Dave get publicly embarrassed and humiliated when he takes on WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, in a bodybuilding pose down. Now, I know that Dave went out and hired a personal trainer and bodybuilding coach, and this guy, Vin, the bodyguard, is going to act as, Dave's muscle at the event. So I just hope Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, has eyes in the front, back, and sides of his head to keep an eye on Dave and his muscle, Vin, this Saturday night.
You got that right. And I mean, Dave is definitely up against it right now because Tony Atlas, he's got the body of a Greek god. And this guy is a WWE Hall of Famer, a former tag team champion. So it's going to be really, really fun to see what tricks Dave has up his sleeve right now.
And all these years later, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas still looks phenomenal. He goes to the gym, I believe, 5 or 6 days a week. So this is going to be the first time he's appearing in the North Jersey area. So hopefully the fans come out and take a picture with him and get his autograph during the event.
Very true. Very true. And if you want to attend the event, check out tickets on campiwf.com. Please, not only are you doing yourself a favor by going to see this great event and these amazing performers, but you're helping a great cause. And Kevin, what is that cause that everybody's helping for this event?
Each year, our anniversary event benefits American Cancer Society's Relay for Life. Last year's event, we raised, I believe it was $6,300 some odd dollars for American Cancer Society. So we hope to equal that number again this year. So it's all for a great cause. We take a beating and kick each other's asses and beat each other up, all in the name of charity. So that's what's going to be going on this Saturday in Nutley, 25th anniversary of the IWF. So it's going to be a great card.
I'm excited about it. I will be there in the audience as well. And I actually donated myself. And I myself have got to say, I've lost too many great people to cancer, including my own father. When I was 4 years old, he died of pancreatic cancer, my dad.
Exactly. So this is something that's near and dear to everybody's hearts. I mean, everybody has been touched by cancer, one way or another.
You said it, Rob. Yeah, we've all known a loved one or relative, parent, grandparent, aunt, uncle, neighbor that's been affected by this dreadful disease. So we're doing as much as we can to help raise money for American Cancer Society for research. So hopefully one day they continue with medications and treatments, and hopefully one day the world will be cancer free.
No doubt about it. And with great people like Kevin Knight and the IWF and everybody just pitching in and trying to lend a hand in some way, I think one day we're going to get there. No doubt about that. At this event too, you're going to be one of the stars in the audience too, with Daniel Bobo Curlin's going to be out there at Nutley, New Jersey. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I know obviously Eastside Dave is going to be there. He's competing. Big A is going to be out there taking pictures. Is Roy Harder, the organist, going to be there?
Roy Harder is on a family vacation in Ireland, so he will be missing this event again. Same thing when we did our anniversary event last year. Roy was in Ireland and missed it. But as you said, Big A, Andrew Gold, our photographer, and he's one of the contributors to the Eastside Dave show. And Daniel Curlin's going to be there. Andrew and Daniel and Eastside Dave have been with us, I believe, for about 5 or 6 years now. So it's always great to have them in the audience supporting us. And yeah, not so great to have Eastside Dave in the ring, but it will be a treat for everybody to see Dave get slapped around New Jersey this Saturday night.
You got that right. And he's going to be trying, Eastside Dave is going to be trying to end that losing streak of his right now. I don't really like his chances.
I believe he's in matches that he's wrestled and wrestlers that he's managed, where he's been the coach at ringside. I believe Dave is 0-12. So maybe instead of Dave hiring a bodyguard and personal trainer to get him through this bodybuilding pose down against Tony Atlas, maybe Dave should hire Buck Showalter for some life advice and coaching advice when it comes to athletics. He's done wonders for the Mets, so Eastside Dave might want to give Showalter a call.
You got that right, and maybe that's a little reason with Buck not being with the Mets today. Maybe that's why they're down. But speaking about Eastside Dave though too, I love, he might not be the best in the ring yet, at least, but I love the commentary he provides on IWF matches, as he has done a great job. They used to have when the Eastside Dave show was weekly at Compound Media, they'd have the matches that they'd call at least once a month. And it was a lot of fun watching that, hearing his and Roy's commentary on so many great matches. And now he's doing it for 95.9 The Rad in New Jersey, right?
That's right. You could just go to the WRAT YouTube page. It's Rat Radio, best rock station on the East Coast, out of Belmar and Point Pleasant, New Jersey. And once a month, the IWF highlighted match will be featured on there with commentary, again, from Eastside Dave and Roy Harder. So it used to be on Compound Media. Now you can watch it on WRAT YouTube channel and check it out. And I believe it's going to be the first of each month a new match goes up. So right now we're doing the matches from North Arlington, New Jersey, and then coming up soon, the matches that are going to take place at IWF 25th anniversary this Saturday. If you can't make it to the event, it's almost sold out. You can watch those matches on the WRAT YouTube channel.
Absolutely.
And I have my alerts on my phone set to alert me every time a new one shows up.
Yes. Do yourself a favor and subscribe to that, so every time it comes up. Kevin said the first of the month it's going to be going up there. So absolutely, that this event's going to sell out. So do yourself a favor and get these tickets as quickly as possible. You've only got another day or two to purchase tickets. And Kevin, while we have you here too, I know you're a big Mets fan. So what are you liking so far from this team? They're off to a great start, 9-3 so far under Buck Showalter. How are you feeling about this Mets team so far?
Well, the Mets finally have competent ownership for the first time since I've been alive, that we have an owner that wants to win, wants to spend money in the right places with the general manager, the team president, the manager, the analytic department, and the correct ball players. I mean, we haven't had a decent manager. I like Terry Collins. I like when Terry Collins was the manager. But between Terry and Bobby Valentine, we haven't had a competent manager. Art Howe was a disaster. I never liked Willie Randolph. I didn't think he did a very good job. They got to the 2006 divisional series against the Cardinals with David Wright and
Jose Reyes.
Mm-hmm. And then Willie, was a disaster in 2007. And Jerry Manuel. Terry righted the ship, got the Mets to the World Series in 2015. And then since then, with Mickey Callaway and the Carlos Beltran debacle and Luis Rojas, we finally have great ownership. Mets have great general manager. Mets have a great manager. Mets have great players on the field. So I'm actually been watching the games this season without that sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach that some catastrophe is going to happen at any moment. So they're off to a great start so far this season, and hopefully it is a amazing, magical season for the Mets.
Oh, you got that right, Kevin. And obviously Dan is at the game tonight, so I think we're seeing too. Attendance is creeping up. Met fans, are very enthusiastic about this team right now, as they have every right to be. And,
I saw some of the doubleheader yesterday, and first game, obviously, not too many people there, but the nightcap last night with Max Scherzer pitched. Place was pretty crowded for a 42-degree windy April night. So, and the weekend series too was very well attended. So there's definitely a lot of rejuvenation and enthusiasm as far as Mets fans. I know I definitely, have a different outlook on the team this season than in years past.
Oh yeah, you got that right. And it looked great on TV. It sounded great on the radio with all the people there. But Dan, you were there yesterday. How did it feel being in there?
It sounded lively for a game that was in the 40s. It was like the Meadowlands kind of weather, and the fans were into it. And the ballpark, it felt like Shea Stadium years almost.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you have Max Scherzer flirting with that no yesterday. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I started getting these visions in my head of, Max shutting these guys down on a cold April night.
I've got to ask Bobo, have you gone home since the home opener last Friday? You've been to every game. Do you live there? Do they provide a cot for you at Citi Field to sleep on?
I live in Mass, but just by luck, I've been invited to a couple of games, the home opener. So I've been lucky to be at a couple of games so far. This is going to be technically the fourth game. I'm going to count the doubleheader as a 10 game. So technically,
okay.
The fourth game so far this year.
And how far away are you from Citi Field?
I'm in around Mass, but I take a bus and a subway to get here.
Okay.
That's a lot of dedication.
I've got to get out there. I don't think I've been to Citi Field since 2015 because I just, I still watched most of the games or caught, games I couldn't watch on TV on the radio. So my fandom is still there. But as far as spending money on the team, I don't think I've been to a game since 2015, 2016 when Terry Collins was the manager, when they had those 2 great years, because then it's just been downhill since 2017, 2018. So I will be there at Citi Field at some point this year.
To get you out there, me and my co-host Robert, and you definitely got to join co-host Robert.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Absolutely. That would be a hell of a trio out there at Citi Field, tearing things up down there. And one last time, Kevin, I just want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. I want to give one more plug because it's such a great event. The 25th anniversary. There we go. IWF, loud and proud. The Nutley Rally for Life. Do yourself a favor, pick these tickets up. campiwf.com. We'll have all the details and links that you want in the description to check it out here on the video on YouTube. So please check this out. It's for a great cause, and you're getting a lot of bang for your buck, no doubt about it. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks, and myself, along with Tony Atlas, former WWE superstar Nunzio, Dark Oracle Sage, we're going to see you this Saturday in Nutley. Thanks for having me on.
Let's get into the fun stuff, fellas. Let's get into some Major League Baseball 2022 predictions. The AL East, Mr. Daniel Bobo Curlin. Daniel, for the American League East, who is your predicted winner?
I'm going to go with the predict that Tampa's going to win the AL East.
And Mike, how are you feeling about that?
Great. I have Tampa as well.
Now, let me ask you a question. You just said you thought you think you know where I'm going. Who do you think my prediction for 2022 is?
Well, I think your number one is going to be my number two. Toronto?
Toronto is who I got. And, we'll keep moving on here. We got the AL Central now. So, Dan, why don't you kick us off?
I think the Twins is probably going to slightly edge out the White Sox.
And Mike, what are your thoughts?
I put Chicago above.
I actually concur with you. That's who I picked too. So we'll keep moving on, and we'll do the AL West now. Dan, we'll start with you again. Who is your pick for the AL West champion?
I have a feeling Houston's probably gonna win.
Mike, how do you feel about that?
But I went with winning and making their first playoff appearance in 2 decades, the Seattle Mariners.
For me, I agree with Dan. I'm picking the Houston Astros. Yeah, so with that, we'll move on to the National League, as we'll do the National League East. Danny, we'll start off with you. Who do you pick for the National League East champion 2022?
I have a feeling the Mets are going to win this one.
First of all, I'm shocked that you're picking the Mets. I mean, that definitely surprises me. But you know what? And I'll jump out of order here too, just because I'll agree with you. So we'll move on to you, Mike. Now, too, we got the 2 resident Met fans in the house picking the Mets. Who do you got your eye on the NL East?
Because now I have Atlanta first.
So with that, we'll move on, and we'll do the NL Central. The NL Central. Dan, we'll start with you. Who do you like in the NL Central? Who's your pick?
I have a feeling that the Cardinals are probably going to win a very close NL Central with Milwaukee.
Mike, what do you think?
I completely agree how close it's going to be. I flip-flopped with him. I put Milwaukee 1.
I picked the Cardinals. So with that, we'll take it to our last division of the day, the National League West. Dan, we'll start with you.
I have a feeling that the Dodgers are going to win.
So we'll move on to Mike. Who do you want, or who do you think is going to win the National League West?
Unfortunately, I chose the Dodgers.
I'm going to make this the only in our last division. It's a clean sweep. We all picked the Dodgers.
All you, and especially all you truck drivers out there working hard to get the goods to everywhere all over this country, this great country of ours. I'm hoping you're enjoying listening to this in that truck.
Absolutely, we love our truck drivers, no doubt about that.
Bless America, God bless the truck drivers.
I echo those sentiments, Dan, no doubt about it. God bless. Let's end on that because it doesn't get much better than that. God bless America. God bless the truck drivers.
And God and the servicemen.
And
all
the
over the-
servicemen and the
Yep.
servicewomen and everybody. God bless everybody. And thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. And with that, we're going to jump right in to our NFL draft. And that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the best seat in the house 2022 draft show right here, NFL draft show. I'll be representing the New York Jets. My co-host, Daniel Bobo Curlin, will be representing the New York Football Giants. And with that, we're going to get this underway right now. The Jacksonville Jaguars, with the number 1 pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, select edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson, Michigan. With the second pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select edge rusher Trayvon Walker, Georgia. And with the third pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select offensive lineman, and I'm going to butcher his name here, Ikem Ekwonu, North Carolina State. All right. And now with the number 4 pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select cornerback Ahmed Sauce Gardner, Cincinnati.
All right, with the number 5 pick, we select offensive tackle Evan Neal from a good pal of mine, her home state, the Alabama.
Out of Alabama, yeah, Evan Neal going to the Giants is a good pick for the New York Giants. I like that a lot to solidify that offensive line. And with the number 6 pick in the NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select quarterback Malik Willis at a Liberty. All right, Dan, now you're back on the clock with the Giants.
All right, with the number 7 pick, Jermaine Johnson, defensive end out of Florida State.
Florida State. All right, and let's talk about this for a second, Dan. I want to break this down because obviously we breezed through my my Jets one and your first pick. Let's just recap a little bit. I know you had Sauce Gardner, Ahmed Gardner, the cornerback, high on your draft board. What did you like best about him and how he fit with the Giants that he was that high on your board?
I felt he just had a lot of upside.
Mm-hmm.
After his adjustment to the NFL, he just had He just had upside with our current offensive line, and hopefully give Daniel Jones some protection that he hasn't had. I mean, the poor guy's been getting sacked left and right.
Yeah, no, that's true. The Giants definitely need to add some protection, and that's the same reason. I mean, from the other side of the ball, the Jets needed a playmaker, so that's why I went with Ahmed Gardner, aka Sauce Gardner, who apparently says that his favorite kind of sauce is barbecue sauce, but nothing in particular, which kind of rubbed some people the wrong way for some reason. I don't really know why. But the Jets with me, I took Sauce Gardner at number 4. You took Evan Neal at Alabama at number 5. Then at number 7, you jumped ahead. If you really look at the big board, Jermaine Johnson the second out of Florida State, the edge rusher, 6'5", 265 pounds. One of the better prospects in the draft. But you know what? He's been really rising on the boards lately. There was even some speculation that the Jets, in real life, could take him at the number 4 pick, which I don't know. I mean, look, if the Jets are going to do that, the guy better be a Hall of Famer. But at where the Giants are picking at number 7 for their second pick, I don't mind that pick at all. I think it's a very good job by you. What attracted you to Jermaine Johnson?
Well, I was looking at him. I was watching the Senior Bowl earlier this year, and he just made some explosive plays on defense.
Yeah, and a team like the Giants too that just has a rich history with great defensive players. You could even go back to LT for a linebacker's perspective, but if you even come back a little bit more recent, just go to specifically to D-end. I mean, you look at Michael Strahan, you look at Justin Tuck when they took him out of Notre Dame. You look at guys like JPP, who's still in the league, by the way. So they really are the Giants really do have a history of taking very talented edge rushers in the draft. Great talented defensive linemen on the end. So I definitely agree with you there. No doubt about that.
Our history with some of our greatest teams in Giants history, I feel, always had a great defense. I mean, look at the very first football jersey I owned, and this one's going to be a little bit sad mentioning this, but one of the last gifts I had got from my dad before he had passed, I think it was the last Christmas he was alive. He gave me my first Giants jersey. It was a Lawrence Taylor jersey.
Wow, yeah. It just goes to show you, man. Especially back then in the '80s, LT was the big man on campus, and the Giants were just a supremely talented team. They won that. They really won both Super Bowls, but specifically that second one, through their defense. Because with Sims hurt that second go around, where they had to go through the Niners and everything, and they stopped the Niners and the three-peat. They really needed contributions big time from their defense. Starting the backup quarterback and everything, who played great, but you definitely needed their field goal kicker, who ended up making a name for himself there that playoff run, and their defense to step up. And they definitely did on both accounts, no doubt about that.
By the way, I got to say something about the 1986 Giants. They made a bit of Super Bowl history, inventing 2 Super Bowl standards that have become a standard when it comes to Super Bowl championship teams. One, they invented the Gatorade bath. Number 2, Sims was the very first to do an "I'm going to Disney World" commercial.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, Bill Parcells was the first one to take the Gatorade bath, and Phil Simms was the first to say he's going to Disney World. So, yeah, very, very true. That was a terrific Giants team. No doubt about that. So, with that, let's jump right back in. We got a couple of more picks to do in our draft before we wrap it up here. And we're going to jump right back into the 8th pick in the NFL draft. With the number 8 pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select wide receiver Garrett Wilson, Ohio State. So, very good job by the Falcons there. I think that really replaces, they've had kind of they're really building up from the bottom here. There weren't any like quarterbacks this high that are going to blow anybody away right now. So they replaced the spot that Julio Jones, left when he was gone for the last couple of years. Good move by them. With the number 9 pick in the NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select cornerback Derek Stingley Jr., LSU. The 6'1", 190-pound quarterback, cornerback who, very highly rated here, but I'm just a bigger fan of Sauce Gardner. Big reason why I, as the Jets GM, took Sauce at number 4. And at number 10, the last pick of our 2022 best seat in the house NFL Draft, the New York Jets select wide receiver Drake London at a USC, 6'5", 210 pounds. I'm a big fan of this kid. I know USC has burned the Jets in the past. Mark Sanchez, who, look, a lot of fans are not friendly to Mark Sanchez, and his career didn't exactly last like the 10, 15 years like we had envisioned when he was drafted in 2009. But the guy did get us to 2, AFC championship games, so I can't knock him too much. But in more recent memory, Sam Darnold. So Sam Darnold does kind of rain on the parade a little bit. But then again, also last year the Jets took, their guard at the number 14 spot. So and he was also at a USC. So I do think that the Jets can pick from USC, and I do like Drake London, 6'5". The Jets needed a big target, not only to be a difference maker for them, but to be a big time target in the red zone. You have a young quarterback like Zach Wilson. I really think that that's the type of guy that the Jets needed. What are your thoughts on Drake London, Dan? Was he anywhere on your board for the Giants at all?
He wasn't. It was kind of a bit of a question mark because he had been playing in USC, which I feel Southern California gets to be a bit of a question mark, up in the air. Warm weather kind of. I usually kind of like when I know my players have kind of had experience in the elements, as we say.
Very true.
Because up here in the Meadowlands, it does get windy. All right, it does get windy. All right.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. You get those swirling winds. You get those really cold days. You get just everything like that. So I definitely understand why you might be a little hesitant, but you know what? He's just too good for me to pass on. And I know a lot of fans would like to say, why wouldn't you trade the number 10 pick to the 49ers in a package deal for Bobo Samuel, who is on the block right now, or if you listen to John Lynch, he's not on the block, but it doesn't look like they're going to pay him. I know they can franchise him back-to-back years, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know. I like the idea of the Jets taking their own guy. I don't want to take somebody else's problem. And you know what? One thing about Bobo Samuel, too, the San Francisco 49ers have a great coach. They're one of the best run franchises in the NFL. You know, even when they have a down year, they still come back. They've been to a couple of Super Bowls over the last few years. If you're a star and you're a good player in this league, why would you want to leave them? And look, I'm not knocking my team, the Jets, either. But let's be honest here. You want to leave one of the best teams in the league to come to a team like the Jets just to get paid? That kind of thinking just makes me think that, you know, when his contract is up, he's going to be looking for his next stop. He's going to be looking for his next payday. And if the Jets aren't winning, it's not going to be at the Jets. So I don't know if I want to give up the number 10 pick in the draft for him. I want to take a guy who's our guy, and I don't want to mess around. Well, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is our top 10 picks in the 2022 NFL Draft. Thank you for indulging us on this right now, and you know, with that, we'll be right back with the rest of our great show. All right, and thanks for sticking with us here on Best Seat in the House podcast. I'm your host, Rob Kramer, once again, along with my great co-host, Daniel Bobo Curlin. Thanks for enjoying our, our little segment here on the NFL Draft. We're actually already coming to near the end here, unfortunately. It's going to be a little bit quicker this week. We're under the gun a little bit with time, but we'll be back for a full episode next week. Definitely doing regular time. So excuse us for having a little bit of shorter one this week. But before we get out of here, though, obviously, me and Dan, big time Met fans. Let's discuss. We had a matinee game today against the St. Louis Cardinals. Dan, tough loss, 10-5 game. They ended up blowing the game. They got to Steven Matz in the second inning, scored 4 runs off him, had a 4-1 lead, end up dropping the game 10-5. What are your thoughts after this game, Dan?
I feel like Cookie crumbled today, right? He just that's the best way to pull it, all right? I feel like the guy sometimes it's hit or miss, and out of all the days he had to have, today had to have his bad day. Like, I felt like we were going to get our first series sweep of the season, but it wasn't meant to be. Hope we can pull it off versus Philly this weekend. Like, I'm ready for what is the heavyweight battle of the Northeast, the battle of the Turnpike this weekend. I'm ready for it. This Mets team looks great. I don't think they're going to be they don't look like they're phased from a loss. I'm starting to hear like all the stories you hear about the 1986 season, how the team always felt like it was going to win, and when they lost, it was a shocker. So I feel like this is going to be they're going to bounce back. They're ready for Philly. I believe Taiwan Walker is pitching. He's got a huge chip on his shoulder to show that he's come back from this thing. I'm hoping we get that Taiwan Walker that looked like that got him to an All-Star game last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe I looked out on Saturday. I'm gonna get to see Tyler McGill pitch on Saturday on my birthday.
Oh, actually, if you're going on Saturday, I think Tyler McGill is starting on Friday. I don't know if they've named a starter for Saturday yet, but I know Scherzer is going on Sunday night. Scherzer's pitching because the Mets are going to be on ESPN against the Phillies on Sunday night. It's looking like it's going to be Scherzer against Eflin, I want to say. But I'm pretty sure I looked and I saw that Tyler McGill is going to be starting on, on Friday.
Yeah.
And
so,
if they had,
so I'm probably gonna get Taiwan Walker on a Saturday.
That is correct. Yes, Taiwan Walker against Kyle Gibson is the matchup on Saturday. I'm sorry. That's going to be a good matchup, though. I'm excited to see Taiwan Walker back. Right? How are you?
Yep. Excited to see him back. I'm gonna have to wear a sweatshirt underneath my hoodie because it's gonna be in the upper 50s on Saturday night, and they're gonna give out this is the first I've seen. I've seen them give out bobbleheads and I seen him give out gnomes. This is a bauble gnome, or bauble gnome.
Yes, a Francisco Lindor. That's true.
Yeah,
That's
and it's bauble gnome, so it's a hybrid of a gnome and a bobblehead.
yeah. So that should be pretty cool. It's a nice little gift they're giving out.
Yep, I'll probably show you. I'll probably show it to you, Nick, on the next episode because I'll have it in my possession, of course.
Okay, very cool, man. And also, before we get out of here too, we gotta really talk about, so as you mentioned earlier, the Mets were going for the sweep today in St. Louis. They got a terrific outing from Bassett yesterday. The bullpen followed it right up. Drew Smith has been awesome for the Mets. A couple of the other guys have been spotty, but Lugo looks like he's coming around. Trevor May really needs to straighten himself out a little bit, but I'm not that worried about him. But how about that Monday night game, that first game in St. Louis? The Mets were down 2-0 in the ninth inning, down to their final strike against Gallegos, the St. Louis closer, and they rallied all the way back. Dan, how are you feeling after that game, man?
Oh, I was excited after that game, and it was. I have a wild story about that game. During that top of the ninth, I couldn't hold it. I had to go to the bathroom, so I had to pull out my phone, put on the SNY app. There's a shelf in my bathroom that I could put that. So I placed the phone in that shelf, like sort of standing up.
Yeah.
And I'm on the can, and I'm looking at my phone on this, the side. It's an iPhone 12.
Yeah.
Have the volume as high as you can have it, and my mom could hear me going nuts sounded like from the bathroom, like she was wondering if there was a problem. I said, I'm yelling out from the bathroom, there's no problem. Dominic Smith just legged out that hit and got legged out an RBI. we're leading 4-2 right now, or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was 3-2 actually, because McNeil scored from second, but just that sequence alone was just crazy. They come to bat. The first guy goes down. Then Eduardo Escobar rips a single. Then the next guy goes down. Then Mark Canha has just a fantastic at bat. And he grounds out. And Nolan Arenado, one of the best third basemen in baseball, is one of the last 9 National League third base Gold Gloves. Throws the ball away inexplicably. And the Mets capitalize. It was 2-1 there. Then McNeil rips a double. Suddenly it's second and third, 2 out. That's when Dom came up, as you said. And really, the first baseman, Goldschmidt, made a great play to knock that down. And I thought that Dom was going to be dead at first base.
But he made that clutch slide, and
And lucky for us that the pitcher didn't break immediately, too.
Yep. And I just have a feeling we're going to have a very special season this year, especially if the way we handled St. Louis like that, because I feel like every time the Mets are having a good season, St. Louis is always a tough opponent. And that even includes the NLCS in 2006, which still kind of gives me a little bit of a sad memories when I look. I still boo every member of the 2006 Cardinals if they're at the plate, even though all of them are not in the Cardinals anymore, except for 3 of the players. Whenever I see one of those players at bat, when they're on the road in Citi Field, I have a habit of booing them. I'm still going to be booing Yadier Molina. I'm going to one of those later in the year. I'm going to go to one of those games when the Mets play against the Cardinals because I want to boo Yadier Molina one last time.
Oh, yeah, and you will have the chance to boo Yadi. The Cardinals will be in to Citi Field between, I think it's May 16th to May 19th, so they'll definitely be here. There's going to be a lot of bad blood, too, since this series got a little heated today with the Pete Alonso getting hit last night. Then the young kid the Mets brought up today threw up and in and Nolan Arenado, and he did not appreciate that. Benches clearing incident happened. It wasn't necessarily a brawl, but there was a little incident there. There's pushing and shoving, and for some reason, the Cardinals' first base coach took Pete Alonso down, which didn't make any sense, and he'll probably be suspended for that.
Yeah,
Not Pete, the first base coach.
I'm going to take a little nod back to back to the 80s when the Cardinals were in the same division. I'm wearing my 86 Mets jersey that day.
There you go. There you go, buddy. All right. And unfortunately, with that, I wanted to get into the Yankees a little bit because they had a great series against the Cleveland Guardians. And, we just unfortunately don't have the time today. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to another great episode of Best Seat in the House podcast. Dan, before we get out of here, give yourself a couple of plugs.
Oh, sure. You could follow me on Twitter at Bobo103NYC. You could also follow me at Bobo718DK on Instagram. And it's one word, Daniel Curlin on YouTube. It's my YouTube account. You could see all my videos I posted there. There's going to be some videos I'll be posting there in the future. You can even see the video from that Eastside Dave versus Tony Atlas, that muscle pose off that happened at the IWF show. I filmed it from my seat in case you didn't get to see it if you weren't there. You can watch it and get to see it, what it looked like from where I was sitting.
Absolutely. Be sure to check that out because the IWF event was a lot of fun, especially the Eastside Dave stuff. And make sure to check out Kevin Knight's match too, as they were defending the tag team championships. But also too, with me, you could check me out on Twitter at Kramer New York. Check out our podcast, BSith_podcast, and on Instagram, Best Seat in the House podcast. And all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in once again. I appreciate all the support me and Dan have been getting over the last few weeks. Thank you to all our fans. Thank you to all our subscribers and all our followers on social media. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll catch you next week on Best Seat in the House podcast.
Mets win, baby! Mets win, baby! We won, baby! We won! We won! First place, bitches! Bring it on, Atlanta! You're next, Atlanta! You're next! We're ready! We're ready to kick your ass!
And that's right, everybody. Welcome to a special bonus edition of the Best Seat in the House podcast. As always, I'm your host, Rob Kramer, alongside my co-host, Daniel Bobo Curlin. And we've got a lot to get into today. This is we wanted to do this right after the football ended. The Jets played, a game against the Dolphins this afternoon. The Giants opened up things early this Sunday morning over in England, beating the Green Bay Packers. So we're 2 for 2 so far. We're hoping our Mets can finish the clean sweep later tonight. But before we get to that, Dan, how are you feeling so far on this football Sunday?
Doing good. For one thing, early in the morning, I got up I got up a little bit earlier than I would on a Sunday. Ordered some breakfast, some blueberry pancakes, which was fitting that I ordered blueberries because I was watching the Giants game, the Giants versus the Packers in England. What an unbelievable comeback! Also halfway into the game, and I got to give a shout to one of my Twitter peeps, Media Goon, who I thought this was a good idea to have him make this suggestion because has a collection of jerseys. Is very even some obscure special bet jerseys. Like he even owns a Mercury Mets jersey. He actually owns one of those. I'm sure you remember that weird promotion the Mets did. Like I actually still have the cap from that game. They gave out a cap like that. So I still have it somewhere. But also but anyway, there was 2 different Met jerseys I was trying to pick to wear. One was this little special jersey that the 7-Line Army gives away if you sit at one of their outings. So I had that, whether I was going to wear that jersey today during the game or this one you're seeing me wear right now, my 80s throwback. And since the goon had spoken and said the 80s throwback, I'm going with the 80s throwback jersey, as you can see.
I like it a lot, man. That's a good way. That jersey, it just feels like that jersey has wins all over it. You know what I mean?
Yep, I know what you mean. Plus, that this jersey's actually, I mean, these '80s jerseys are like a special close to my heart because this was the jerseys that Gary Carter wore. That's why I had to own one of these because this was from that era when he played. Also, when I first got introduced to the Mets, very little. Of course, we all know about 4-year-old me being at the World Series, but the first memories I have of the Mets and being introduced to this thing called baseball and this team, the New York Mets, they were jerseys that the Mets were that were around at that time. These were the jerseys at that time when I got introduced to the Mets. These were the first version of the Mets jersey I've ever known.
You're right, and those are the same. The same. You know, you're a little bit older than me, but still, I even remember it. Not so much in the '80s because I was born in '86, but even those early '90s Mets teams. I remember David Cone and Sid Fernandez wearing those jerseys, and Dave Magadan when I was a little kid, and Greg Jeffries and Kevin Elster. So yeah, I do remember, just like you said, seeing those racing stripe '80s Mets jerseys very prominently as a kid. And a very cool choice for today. But there is one thing I did want to backtrack to for a second, and in case you're looking at me and realizing that I look like crap, it's because eventually I did test positive for COVID over the last few days. So excuse me, but I do like to consider myself the Cal Ripken of podcasting. So I was not going to allow myself to miss any time because of this. So I'm still going strong, even with COVID. But I did want to revisit one thing you said there. You said that you opened today with some blueberry pancakes.
Yeah, in the morning because
now, I was told, though, Dan, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I was told that blueberries were a standalone fruit. Now, is that true?
the blueberries are mixed with something else. Pancakes, all right? It's pancakes with blueberries inside.
No, that's true. That's true. I just wanted to give a shout out to the great Fez Watley, because the blueberries just reminded me of one of his all-time famous moments.
Trust me, I miss that guy. I've been lucky enough to see some funny moments with Fez in person. I met the guy, and I'm sure you've seen, once you probably saw me when Fez passed away. I tweeted a signed photo of Ron and Fez that I got over when they were at the old 111 57th Street. I got to sign a card, and I'm a big ass card holder. Okay.
It's true. Two of the all-time greats. No doubt about that, man. And as a matter of fact, Dan, you're one of the all-time greats. So we're about to get out of here. So why don't you give yourself a couple of plugs before you hit the road?
Sure, definitely. You can follow me, Twitter, Bobo103NYC, Instagram, Bobo718DK, and YouTube, Daniel Curlin.
There you go. Make sure to follow Dan there and like him and subscribe to his page. Always a lot of fun stuff coming out of there. You can also subscribe to our page on YouTube at Best Seat in the House, Best Seat in the House Podcast. You could follow us on Twitter at @BSIF_podcast, and follow me on Twitter also if you want. My last name, Kramer, NY. So thank you once again, everybody, for tuning in and checking this out. And you know what? Because this is the New Year's show, let's not forget this is a New Year's celebration.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, my friend. Happy New Year to everybody watching this. Let's count down from 10. Just like, it's going to feel like we're ending the Chip Chipperson show, really. But let's just count down from 10, end it with a Happy New Year, and then we'll get out of here, all right?
Try to let's see if you can pick up on this little classic O&A reference at the end. You'll know what I'm talking about when I get to it. Right.
Well, whatever it is, just don't say Chippy Kaye, Father Mucker.
Right, don't want that, but it's a deep cut, but you'll know it.
Okay. All right. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! Happy New Year! All right. Well, Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us through 2022. We hope that you'll catch us and enjoy the show in 2023 as well. And for Rob Kramer and Daniel Bobo Curlin, this is the Best Seat in the House podcast, and we'll catch you next year, everybody.
Thank you to all our fans who have been watching and supporting us in 2022, and we'll see you next year on the Best Seat in the House podcast.